Welcome to the Commonwealth Club World Affairs of California. I'm Michelle Meow, a member of the Board of Governors and also the host and producer of the Michelle Meow Show, which is your A through Z covering the LGBT, LMNOP, and everyone in between. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on this special spooky day. If you recognize it, Halloween, happy Diwali for any of you who celebrate Diwali. And I guess happy When Fam Day, I should say. Yeah. I mean, our guest doesn't really need much introduction, especially for those who are here in this room. You are here to celebrate this individual who has given so much to our community, to our queer community, to the San Francisco Bay Area community, and of course, to all the nerds out there around the world. Yes, woo! Yeah. Thanks again for all of you who are joining us online. And if you don't know, we are celebrating When Pham, who is the outgoing board president of San Francisco Pride. San Francisco Pride being one of the largest pride celebrations in the world and the most iconic. I'm biased. I might even say that, one of the most important historically, after that heel was tossed in Greenwich Village in Stonewall. Yeah, by Marsha P. Johnson, by the way, not gonna take that history away from us. So without further ado, let's get this program started. We are going to do something different. We're going to add some spices to this evening in a hot takes kind of version of this exit interview. Okay, let's get tonight started. It's a catwalk of a introduction here and some steps, but without further ado, huge round of applause for our guest tonight, When Pham.
Thank you, Michelle. Hey, everyone. Happy Halloween. And happy LGBTQ plus History Month, by the way. We are closing Queer History Month tonight. This is so fun.
I love it. You are always full of facts. So it is Halloween, and I kind of tried to get dressed. It's like the lazy lesbian queer person's way of trying to do it. But
you can say that. I can't say that.
I can say it. I'm saying it. I'm saying it for myself. I'm identifying as such. But I am the ghost of Pride's past from Chinatown. You like it?
That's right.
Yeah.
And fun fact, if y'all don't know, Michelle Meow is also President Emerita of SF Pride. She's the one who actually recruited me to join the board of directors of SF Pride back in 2016, it was, and served dutifully as president of the organization. So she and I have definitely a kindred connection here. We know what it takes and all the patience and frustration, but also love and joy and warmth that it takes to preside over, as you said, the world's most iconic LGBTQ event.
Yeah. Well, let's before we dive into all that good stuff, and I do, like we talked about on the phone, I mean, I kind of want to be like no holds bar, like be open and unvarnished about your experience serving for San Francisco Pride and everything else that you do. Okay. So San Francisco Bay Area, born and raised, take us all the way back.
That's right. Again, my name is When Pham. I use he, him pronouns. Deeply honored and proud and grateful to be the first Vietnamese president emeritus of SF Pride. Born and raised here in the Bay Area, in the South Bay. I founded my high school's GSA. At the time, it was called the Gay Straight Alliance. This is Westmont High School in the late 1900s when I was born also. And I attended, after that year, my very first SF Pride Parade. I marched in I think it was the year 2000, maybe 2001, with the GSA network. And that was my first time marching in the SF Pride Parade. And ever since then, I've been marching in various capacities. The year after I started school at UC Berkeley, I marched with the Queer Resource Center. And then the year after that, I began marching with Cheer San Francisco, which is the world's greatest charitable cheerleading team. We use the sport of cheerleading to raise spirits, awareness, and funds for other LGBTQ and HIV/AIDS nonprofits. And I have not missed an SF Pride Parade since I started. So it's been a 24-year consistent journey. I became addicted to this thing called SF Pride when I was still a teenager. It's my longest relationship after 24 years. And I guess the rest is history. This one over here acknowledged, wow, Win, you're like an intersectional queer Asian person who shows up for community, and I would love for you to join my board of directors on SF Pride. And not knowing any better, that's what I chose to do in 2016. And let's harken back to 2016. That was a big year electorally. And we kind of expected a particular outcome from the general election that year. So I figured, you know what, why not just join this Pride thing? It'll be so fun, so easy. And our government administration will be so in love with queer people because, yay, we're going to have maybe the first woman president. And then 2016 happened, and that was not the case. It was a very interesting time to join the board. I won't say it was easy. You and I were there for those first couple of years of a certain administration, but it made the work that much more meaningful because we had a much harder fight to fight.
I mean, this happens a lot with many of us who serve, but once you step off, like you kind of have to heal yourself, and you put yourself out there for so many years. So I actually forgot that you joined in 2016, and
yeah.
oh my gosh, wow! And here we are, full circle, right in 2024, about to hopefully not make the same mistake back in 2016.
I mean, we can hope all we want, but we still got to vote, y'all.
You gotta vote. So going back, Cheer SF, and then doing all this stuff that you do for community. There is one question that I do have for you. You're always in fabulous heels, and I want the audience to see, just how incredible these heels are, and then how do you have to be flexible to join Cheer SF?
Yeah, both physically and morally.
Could you show us? Would you mind? Would you mind demonstrating for us?
I'm happy to showcase the footwear, but in terms of the physical flexibility, at least,
Yes.
that'll have to wait till the next Cheer SF performance. But we do encourage you all to come to every Pride event you've ever seen here in the Bay Area. Cheer San Francisco is always there. And as a 501c3 nonprofit, Cheer SF is available for hire, and all contributions are tax deductible. Just look up Cheer SF at cheersf.org.
You did that so graciously. That's what I love about you. Okay, so going back, 2016, it was pretty tough. You joined the board. I had approached you because you basically embody everything about Pride. You're always in spirit, positive, always willing to help out, no matter, right, like the organization who is coming to you in terms of wanting your help and need. I think the first big question, and then we're going to dive into this spicy hot takes version where the questions do get spicier and spicier and spicier, and you'll see what we mean by that. Is really, 2016 to 2024, what would you say was the hardest part? And you had served in very many different roles, by the way, on the board, between secretary, vice president, and then board president.
That's right. That's a big question, Michelle. What was the hardest part? It's all honestly hard. Just getting up every day, and especially the past couple of years when you're waking up to these news updates about record-breaking numbers of legislative actions taking place across this country that are directly attacking LGBTQ people and our existence, and particularly anti-trans bills, attacking trans healthcare and history and books and queer art forms. The hardest part is just knowing that while it might not be generally the broader public opinion, there's still a very vocal, twisted minority that's willing and able to mobilize these very harmful acts about us. As queer people, we carry that with us every day. I think there was a bit more optimism in 2016 because we had just come off of 2 back-to-back Obama administrations who, arguably, those were very LGBTQ-friendly administrations. And we were looking forward to another Democratic LGBTQ-friendly administration. We didn't get that. And so now, having gone through the additional trauma from 2016 through 2020, trying to hold close the the positivity that we have felt from this most recent administration, bracing ourselves for the potential for additional pain and trauma, I think that's the most difficult part. But the other side of that is what we've seen is coalescing of our people with one another, which has been really inspiring to see. It's often said, almost every year that I've been on this board, there's never been a more important time to be involved with Pride. And it's because we still have quite a fight to fight. No matter who we think our allies are, at what levels of our government and civic leadership, while we've come so far since the beginning of the Pride movement, and SF Pride was founded in 1970, so we're in our 54th year of fighting this fight, that's more than half a century of this fight, we still have quite a ways to go. And so I think the challenge remains consistent. What I love about the mission of SF Pride, and I'll say it to you, the mission of SF Pride is to educate the world, commemorate our heritage, celebrate our culture, and liberate our people. It's a four-pillared mission. That mission hasn't changed in quite some time. And there's something kind of poetic about that because it shows that we are still laser-focused on the uplifting and the affirmation and the worthiness of the existence of us as queer people because, believe it or not, we've always existed. We might not have always been out, but we've always existed. The fight remains before us, and the way that we mobilize and approach that fight remains consistent. We are still just so focused on ensuring that we can affirm and be inclusive of people who are different through no fault of their own. This is not something that we got to choose. It is an immutable trait. We can't change it. We get discriminated against because of it, and that just kind of fuels the fight even more.
Okay, pull this closer. So let's begin our spicy challenge. And I love this show. It's hot takes, right? Like I don't know if anybody here watches the show, but basically we ask a question and we go through these questions with the spice and these hot wings.
I was not informed of this change to our program tonight, so.
Yeah, I hope you don't dirty your beautiful,
Not my
top.
pearls.
Yeah. But the first thing here, the hot sauce here, it's not so hot at all. It's actually Nando's peri peri sauce. So
Says the Thai woman. No, it's not spicy at all. It'll be fine. No, but it's cool. I'm Vietnamese. It's fine.
Yeah. So okay, let's see if you can handle the heat here. Thank you, by the way, wise assistant Dave Curry, who is the former board treasurer of San Francisco Pride, is also here tonight and lovingly provided this special segment of our program.
Thank you, David.
Okay.
Can we start with one in the top left? Okay.
I'm not going to be pretty about it, so you do however
Okay.
you want to eat chicken wings. Do you eat the?
No, you know what? So with these wings, I learned, I think on YouTube or something, there's a trick to eat them a little bit more delicately, and you get more of the meat without having to use your teeth too much. You're supposed to twist because you gotta watch where your teeth go when you put your mouth on things. You can twist the bones out first, right? See, look, it's kind of a life hack. So, yeah.
This is skill. This
Sure.
is skill.
No, you pull the bone out so that way you get more of the meat. It's a little bit less messy for a dainty little thing like me. I mean, look at me.
What are we going to do without a board president who can take apart a chicken wing in this way?
All right, so we're starting with this one.
So
Okay. What'd you call us? Pee
It's
sauce?
yeah. It's tangy. It's not spicy at all. Yeah.
Tangy,
Yeah.
not spicy.
So I'll start with I'll start with.
Like the men who love me.
Aw. Oh well. Speaking of which, okay. All right. I'll start with a tangy question then.
Yes.
So, San Francisco Pride, since coming out, because I came out at my first San Francisco Pride and all that, I loved the energy and all the people that you would meet who were strangers and everything else. But I'll have to say, I've never really, I had girlfriends all the time, so I didn't actually, have a random hookup during Pride. And so here's my tangy question for you. Did you ever have a random hookup?
Oh my God. Oh, a hookup. Okay. So not to deflate your tires, I'm gonna say no, simply because I've always participated so fully in every Pride event that I've attended in San Francisco. And what I mean when I say that is, up until I think this past year, I actually didn't know what the Pride Parade looks like because I was always marching in it. I was a marcher. I had never been a spectator. Until this year when I was very gratefully given the opportunity to be an anchor on the live broadcast with ABC7, our media sponsor. We love ABC7 News. So because of that, I was always busy. And as I mentioned, the first 2 years that I marched in the parade, I was with the GSA network, and then I was with the UC Berkeley Queer Resource Center, and then for like 20 years, I was with Cheer San Francisco. I didn't have time to hook up, right? Because for me, like, this is probably too much. I'm not transactional when it comes to those kinds of things. Like, I like to try to invest in activity and engagement. So it's tough for me just to even like take a break for like 3 minutes, which apparently 3 minutes is maybe long enough for some people, but not for me. So no, unfortunately, I don't think I have a saucy enough hookup story for Pride.
Well, 2025 is brand new.
It's still early. Yeah, if anybody out there is like super into off-brand, flat-chested, Vietnamese twunks past their prime, like, hit me up.
Thank you for entertaining that question, because I know for sure you're like, oh, I don't know what we're doing tonight. I don't know what you're going to ask. Since you beautifully deconstructed yours, I did not. I just went in for it. Like, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, you're good using your mouth.
I'm just, that's kind of how I like to, like, yeah, deal with things.
So we're advancing.
We're advancing. The second sauce, I have to be honest with you. Actually, I don't remember. My wife poured these. But I think it's, I think this is a one you would find at, like, a Latino grocery store in, like, the Mission. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cute.
So it's a little spicier, but still tangy.
Okay. So there's going to be a progression, yeah? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got a kick.
It's only sauce number 2.
Oh my gosh. I regret my number 2 later. Oh my gosh.
You know we get to like
advance.
ghost peppers and all this stuff, right? Okay.
Oh, that's good though. It's giving like El Farolito in the Mission. Anybody know El Farolito? Yeah, it's legendary. Oh, good. Thank you.
So speaking of neighborhoods in San Francisco, I mean, we've held San Francisco Pride, right? Civic Center. I mean, it's been so traditional. And I feel like that's so important to us because it's historically tied. So this is your second spicy question, but I don't know, would you ever move would you ever relocate the Pride celebration in different neighborhoods in San Francisco?
Would I? No. The only Pride Parade that I have ever known has always begun at the foot of Market Street, at that iconic Embarcadero Plaza, right by the ferry building. It's just a beautiful place to start the parade. You see the bay in front of you, the water's right there. It's sparkling, it's gorgeous. And then going up that wind tunnel of Market Street, however you feel about it, you just see not just the tall buildings, but 15 people deep of just spectators screaming in affirmation of you, lining all sides of the street, people climbing up on the lampposts just to get a good view. There's no feeling quite like that. I know, though, that historically, the first ever Pride Parade, I think is then known as like the Gay Freedom Parade. It had a much different route. It was on Polk Street, which sort of lines, the Tenderloin and Van Ness area. And I would love to go back and visit, take a time machine and see what that felt like. Something tells me that capacity issues were a bit constraining there. So we have a much more abundance of space, which has led to a much more abundance of love. And so if I were still in charge, I would insist that we do not change the current route of the Market Street Pride Parade.
Agree? Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, I do want to acknowledge the current executive director of SF Pride is in our audience, Suzanne Ford, and we're like throwing daggers at each other. It's like, no, we will never change a gosh darn thing. So thanks, Suzanne.
Do you have, I just want to make sure you have liquids and.
Yes,
whatever
I'm
you
staying
need.
hydrated.
Yeah?
Thank
Do
you. I mean, look at me. I'm very hydrated.
Let me know if at any point in time this gets too much, or you need more wine. Do you need more wine?
I'm down for wine.
Okay, wine, please. Yeah. But speaking of wine, we'd like to thank San Francisco Pride, of course, for donating the wine tonight. So thank you to the entire team, the organization, Suzanne, all of you. Gosh, there's a lot that I want to ask, so we got to get through it. But you've done a remarkable job carrying this iconic organization, this tradition of ours, through some of the toughest times. I thought I was leading during a tough time. And what I mean by that is during the years of between 2014, 2018, we had, well, when do we not have community issues? But we were going through legal issues, which could have been a situation for the Pride organizers around definitely the country, but potentially around the world. I think before we get to our third spicy question, you want to just dive into this thing really quick, and then I'll ask you?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll dip into number 3, right?
Yes, so number 3. I don't remember this one either.
It looks like Kool-Aid. It looks innocuous enough.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
If I taste it, I might remember, so let me try.
Okay. It's tangier than the last one, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, and then okay, there's a bit of a finish. Oh. Okay, there is a progression here.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Ooh, that's good. Actually, I'm gonna have a little more. Yeah.
You had served through those times when we were facing those legal issues. If you don't know about the legal issues, Google will tell you, or ChatGPT, or however you want to get your information, because it's there. It's publicly, especially the Bay Area Reporter and whatnot. But those legal issues were questions around, right, like incidents that happened at Pride events, personal injury, or certain safety issues, and et cetera. But they were hard cases because for many of us who were like, oh, I volunteer, I love Pride, I'm so innocent, had no idea that we were going into a situation where they were like, hey, we need all of your communications and the way that you feel about all this stuff, and we're going to use it against you, potentially, in the court system.
Yeah, it's called discovery, and it sucks sometimes.
Yeah. I won't get into it, because it's not my time. My exit interview would pass, forever. But we went from that. You served during that time, and then the pandemic, and then now, right? And a lot of different things that are happening, especially even political issues here in the city of San Francisco and its residency changing and all that good stuff. But the question for you, the tangier question, really, centers around which one of those big moments here during your service, your 8+ years of service, was the most difficult? Was it COVID? Was it the lawsuits? Was it...
I'm showing my bias because when you first recruited me to the board, I was expecting just smooth sailing and let's just focus on joy and affirmation and not have to worry about our detractors really coming for us the way that the immediate administration following Obama's second administration did. And I'm purposefully not using this person's name. I think because that shattered everyone's expectations, we were all blindsided by that. And we felt and we saw and we heard the vitriol from all corners of not just this country, but some around the world as well, that started becoming emboldened against queer people. That was so harmful to all of us. So I think overcoming that first year while also managing the many different personalities that had entered the governing body of SF Pride, the board of directors. And let's remember that the board of directors, it's essentially, it's an electoral process. Community members can submit their candidacy, they have to campaign, they have to get actual votes. So in a certain sense, it's very much a popularity contest, and not in a bad way. Obviously, if you have a leadership competency in space and you have enough people coalescing around you and people willing to vote for you, you should be elected to a governing body. But that also means that the culture of the board can shift. And it's never guaranteed that you're always going to get along with your colleagues. So managing those personalities in a very elevated, traumatic time in our narrative and our journey as queer people, I think that was the most difficult. And I would have to say, it almost made the pandemic not seem easy, but it seemed that it made it feel like we could get through it, because we had so strongly and so passionately coalesced around each other from like 2016 through 2019. Like we were kind of unstoppable in my feeling, in my heart. So when 2020 rolled around, pandemic happened, we were like, you know what? Let's take a pause, take a breath. The whole world is going through a lot right now. We're gonna stand together, we're gonna remain in solidarity. We'll figure it out, because of almost the trauma-driven connectedness that we were able to achieve as queer people. And to a great extent, I still feel very unstoppable. As queer people, we've always existed, we will always exist. We'll always be able to find each other, no matter how many times our detractors might try to erase us or to diminish us. I think we'll always find each other, because we always have. Maybe the degree to which we can be open about it might shift. That just means we have to be more creative. But also, queers are the most creative people on this planet, in the universe. So I think that's been the journey.
We're only halfway there. Please don't make me cry. You can make me cry at the end, but gosh, that was great.
Stop.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
John Gale.
John Gale, yeah.
That's how you say cheers in Thai. John Gale.
Yeah. What a beautiful answer. So this next hot sauce, by the way, it's homemade. My wife made this, and she is, like you said, straight up from Thailand. So it's 100% Thai roasted chilies. She loves Mexican food here, especially in the Bay Area. And there's a mean chile de arbol from one of our favorite restaurants. So she goes and tries to figure out how to make it, except she uses only 100% Thai chilies.
Purebred chili sauce. Okay. What could possibly go wrong?
If you need to take a break, look at it's like thick. It's and then I see seeds. She didn't even care to take the chili seeds out. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, you feel that one.
Yep. She put her personality up in there every day. I mean,
yeah.
I feel her all the. I mean, the only time I don't feel her is when she's snoring. She wakes up. She's like, "Let's go." Okay.
That was a spicy personality.
Yeah. Where are we?
I don't remember.
Okay. So you talked about us finding our way, and there obviously had been many different conversations, especially here in San Francisco, and politics. We love politics. At some point, the tech industry had absolutely impacted our celebration, our city, our culture, and all the good stuff. I remember, one year, and when I was up there in the broadcast booth or stage, and I'm looking down Market Street, I mean, that parade kept going on and on and on. It was like 8 hours, and it was because we had so many tech contingents, and it was like nearly 300 contingents as a whole. And not that we were complaining at the time, because it did great things for us as far as the organization and its future financial health. But my question to you really is, you had then seen this big explosion of tech companies who wanted to be a part of the parade celebration, and then you saw the pandemic happened, and then I actually don't know. But what I can tell you is that, I don't know, maybe they they aren't as many. But some of them had started to put money out there in big campaigns around the world, like, oh, San Francisco is still so great, and we should do this, we should do that, and they put their money in like political cases. But I can't say, and that's the question back to you. I mean, tell us about the tech relationship. Are they still 300? No, I'm not 300 contingent strong, but what happened to all their money?
Sure. Speaking of, so money is what I want to point back to. This is a really interesting question, and I want to help to inform everyone.
Thank you.
About this question. SF Pride is a 501c3 charitable nonprofit. And what that means is we are an organization that's separate from the city of San Francisco that puts on this event every year. That's kind of not often known. I think outsiders kind of assume that the city puts this on, and SF Pride is just kind of a team of people that, makes it kind of pretty. But no, it is a year-round staff of maybe 5 people full-time, an army of contractors and vendors that puts us on every year. And a lot of our budget has to come from, for now, corporate funders, corporate donors, corporate sponsors, because we are one of the few remaining world-scale Pride celebrations that does not charge admission. We don't want economics or cost to be a barrier to anybody in our community who wants to experience the joy and affirmation of the parade and the celebration. So that means we do have to be reliant on other funding sources. For some time, I think maybe kind of during your time, technology was maybe a key player in that funding model where we got significant, meaningful support from tech companies. And then I think after pandemic, they weren't quite showing up for us in the same way. They would still have parade contingents. They might pay the sort of baseline fee to march in our parade with anywhere from like 100 to a couple thousand of their marchers. That was not the same as sponsorship, though. Sponsorship is completely different. Those are higher giving levels, and they afford you different sponsor benefits. We've seen the number of tech sponsors go down. What's been even more interesting is since pandemic, you want to know who's actually been showing up for us in terms of sponsorship? Healthcare companies. And it's actually kind of poetic because if you think about the national legislative landscape, when the rights of trans people with their bodily autonomy is under attack, it's been very interesting and kind of gratifying to see, for example, the past couple of years, our title sponsor is Kaiser Permanente, one of the most authentically LGBTQ affirming companies, one of the leading healthcare companies that believes in everyone's right to bodily autonomy and gender-affirming care. We love that we were able to give them a spotlight as the SF Pride Kaiser Permanente main stage sponsor. We really love them. And it's not just them. Modern Health, even biotech like Genentech. It's been really cool to see the healthcare issue not just being weaponized by our detractors, but also being uplifted by some of our biggest corporate funders. So while tech has maybe receded a little bit, because as we've all seen, it's been a pretty tough landscape out there for them, it's been so wonderful to know that we have some of the world's foremost healthcare companies right by our side.
I mean, because for some tech executives here, they're, surfing on these jets in Hawaii and never mind. That's not this show. I'll talk about that later. But some of them are just quite mean. I do think that if they would like to see San Francisco succeed, that it's okay for some of those billions to go back into celebrations like San Francisco Pride that drives not only, global tourism, but also the 9 counties and beyond, which, in my opinion, is the formation of communities that keep us together, and then we find our way. Look at that. See, we're still being presidential.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I'm really impressed that you're still on your toes and your heels here, and we've already gone through 4 different hot sauces. So there's 2 left. So the 2 last questions are going to be pretty spicy. For those of you who are in the audience who are here, we are going to open up the mic for you to be engaged in this conversation. You can either roast or you can ask Hwin a question. So I hope you are preparing yourselves, or I'll start calling on people.
Don't be shy.
Exactly. Yeah. Ready for the fifth one?
For number 5.
Yeah. So this
Okay.
is actually scorpion chili peppers, and
What
it,
the
and it's.
Never heard of that.
Well, you know what? I was surprised because it's by the Tabasco company. So, the same little red bottle that you find at like a
Okay.
Denny's and all that stuff. It's not that
Tabasco,
hot.
made in America.
But then
like
I'm like,
me.
what is this? And it's scorpion chilies, and I tried it, and it actually is pretty. It's fine. It's fine. Just try it.
Okay. Scorpion chili.
Yeah. Scorpion chili. I mean, I actually should know like the BTUs, and all this stuff, but whatever. Oh, that's bad.
Ooh.
That's bad.
Ooh, yeah, that hurts. Ooh.
That's bad.
We're talking about Thai and Vietnamese here.
Ooh, there's some trauma in my
I'm
mouth.
gonna
right now.
start.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna start breakdancing like the person at the Olympics who scored 0. Because that might have been her excuse. I had scorpion chilies. No. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this is fun. This is great.
Is this
More wine.
fun? This is fun. This is fun. Yeah.
I'm sweating.
Ooh.
I even forgot my question. Okay. Let's get back into it.
Focus,
okay.
Michelle.
This question, it's come up. It was actually some of the hardest moments for me when I had served, and it's the question of police occupation, or occupying space in the parade and the celebration and everything on all that. I don't want to ask the question if people should be included, excluded. I don't think that's the spirit of Pride. What I do want to ask, though, is if people necessarily need to be in uniform. So it's not, sometimes like uniforms and symbols and all this stuff, right? They're great for especially like our community, but sometimes they could be triggering.
Yes.
Do you think that certain groups should march in uniform, especially law enforcement?
It's a very big question. The decision is never up to just one person. I would never be able to, nor would I want to make a unilateral decision about the inclusion or exclusion of militarized aesthetics or anything like that. As a board member, and especially as board president, working in tandem with staff, our executive director, we are responsible to our community, and we are even more responsible, in my opinion, to demarginalize the most marginalized people in our community. When our people are telling us, hey, as a queer person of color or as a trans person of color, I do not feel safe when I see a militarized presence, whether it be a uniform or weaponry or anything. We have to be responsive to those most marginalized people, because it's those marginalized people that we do pride at all. As you mentioned at the top of the hour, it was a black trans woman who threw the first heel at the Stonewall riot back in 1969. And we have to protect those people. Those are the most vulnerable and the most exposed, most discriminated against. And proportionally, they die at more rapid clips than the rest of our marginalized people. So any sort of decision in terms of inclusion or exclusion takes place in community. It takes place in dialogue with those people that we have a responsibility to protect and to save.
I just want to add, when the Warriors or the Giants or the 49ers, when they win their championships, they're not in uniform.
Sports, what?
We gotta find you a crush in 2025 or something, whatever, a random hookup. No, but my point is that they do, yeah. Even some of the largest pride celebrations out there, my opinion, but not pride celebrations, celebrations out there, right? They're not necessarily in uniform. So that's just something to think about. Just something to think about. I mean, we got people in uniform a lot of the times, but I don't know. I'm not on the board anymore.
Me neither.
That was a hard question. I'm glad I saved that for number 5. There's one more left, and
right.
Are you ready for it?
I was born 2 weeks early. I was, by the way. I was a little.
This last one is a mix of ghost peppers and the scorpion, and it's the hottest of them all. So
Okay.
dab lightly.
Okay, here we go.
Or not. I mean, I love a challenge.
You know what? I'm not gonna dab. We don't live our lives as queer people quietly. I'm just gonna go all in. All in, okay, y'all? You see that? See that? Okay. Because I'm commitment oriented, everyone. Okay, ready? Here we go.
I can't breathe. Oh, girl. I hope you need to,
Oh,
It's Halloween. It's bringing out the spookiness in all of us here.
oh no, there's a finish
I know.
there.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
I'm getting
here.
shiny, right? I'm getting so shiny. Okay, Rosé will help.
Okay. I'm glad. Okay. This last question I think it's been an ongoing question for many of us who had served on this board, and it's always, right, thinking about the strategy going forward, the sustainability. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready?
Go for it. What's it? What do you need? What's up?
Well-
Michelle, hurry.
The footprint of the whole thing. We're in 2024. You just survived a pandemic. We're talking about finances. So the final question for you is, I mean, the Pride celebration has been free for over 50 years.
Right.
Which, you know what, I do want to say, I want to acknowledge this, though. Like,
What do you want to acknowledge, Michelle?
Your board presidency and the leadership in the last few years, you have been successful in getting the city to support Pride in the biggest way, I think, in the history of Pride's existence. So we should give them a round of applause for this, because the city of San Francisco has never given as much money as we have seen in most recent years. So let's clap.
Yep.
Give Quinn a. Yeah, I know. I'm like, I can't even deal with this right now.
And on that point, if I may, also, I keep on bringing her name up, Suzanne Ford, the first openly trans executive director of SF Pride. See right there. She, in concert with the board, has been the most relationship-oriented ED. And she was literally knocking on every door in City Hall, pleading the case that, hey, y'all, we're emerging from pandemic. We are the city's largest annual event. We have conservatively an economic impact annually of $500 million in the region. That is hospitality and tourism revenue. There's tax revenue attached to that. Like, city, mayor, you gotta support us. And to your point, thankfully, the city did wise up to the fact that they need us as much as we need them. We are the crown jewel of events here in the city every single year. People come from all over the world, 1 million of them every year. We have 50,000 marchers on our parade route, 200 to 300 parade contingents. And that's money that people spend here. That's butts and seats to adjacent events. That's restaurants and bars that people spend their money at. And so, yes, we are grateful to our civic leaders here in San Francisco for acknowledging that we bring in more money than I think anything in this city on an annual basis. And we do it on a shoestring budget, y'all. It not only takes so many millions of dollars just to put on the event, but also to employ our staff and our contractors. And we're not a wealthy organization. As I said, we're a 501c3 charitable nonprofit. And we are heavily reliant on corporate sponsorship, which we have a robust, loyal roster of corporate sponsors And we're looking for other support. We're looking to diversify revenue streams. So if you're out there, you believe in the mission and the cause and the vision and values of SF Pride and what we stand for, especially at this moment, for our national legislative journey and narrative, what we're fighting against, please consider donating. If you have connections to a foundation or even to another company, if you yourself have anything to give, please give. We thrive on the generosity of other people because we are a charity. We want to keep Pride free and accessible to everybody who wants to enjoy it.
Sorry, I have to insert because this is part of the last question. You just said it. You want to keep it free.
We do.
At the same time, we talked about we need to diversify, our revenue streams here, and it is 2024 going on 2025. I understand the spirit of it. Unfortunately, just like eggs right now costs something that I don't even know. I stopped buying eggs. I mean, it's a very real question. It's a hard question.
Yes.
So do you stand by that San Francisco Pride? We are not at a place where we want to charge at the doors like some prides, not going to say names, or other cities that have music festivals and big name acts, and maybe south of us.
Michelle.
It's getting really spicy.
Those are our friends.
I'll just stop there. There are our friends. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, they do charge like $50 a person, and they're probably making like some considerable amount of money. So that's the last question for you. We're not going to charge. We're going to stay free because that's the spirit of San Francisco. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I am saying for myself. My legacy, and here's the thing, this actually came up in a board retreat just a couple of years ago. I accidentally coined this phrase that SF Pride will be free and always will be. Free and always will be. That was just kind of my mantra. And we were able to carry it through the end of my administration. Would it make economic sense to maybe charge some modest nominal fee? Probably. That would also exclude a lot of our people. And I don't know that I would be comfortable saying, hey, deeply marginalized community member, I know that you're going through some tough times, but I want $5 from you, or I want $25 from you. In this moment, I would not be comfortable. I would struggle. And look at what we were able to create under the leadership, the management of Suzanne Ford. We got top-tier talent this year on our shoestring budget. Our celebrity grand marshal was one Billy Porter, star of stage and screen. And we got to have him put on a free concert for our people and our allies. I can't imagine excluding our community from that unabashed and unapologetic and high quality joy and beauty, especially at this moment when we are told from many corners of this country that we are not worthy and deserving of joy and beauty, that we need to go back in the closet. I can't imagine taking that away from anybody simply because they can't afford to come to Pride. That's my answer.
Okay, now I'm really crying not because it's spicy. Huynh, gosh, wow. I'm glad that I am in community with you, but also I just want to say we are so lucky to be in community with each other, right? Yeah.
We are all lucky to have all of us in this space. Thank you all for coming tonight, being in space with us, and for you in the virtual space too.
So we're going to open it up to y'all now. Before we do that, we're going to give you an example of what a roast is. It can actually be complimentary. I know some people are like, Michelle, I don't want to say the wrong thing and, joke, people take it out of context, whatever. And we're all family. We just demonstrated that, right? We had a great conversation. We're going to play this quick video from Robin. Oh. Yeah, who couldn't be here tonight, but she made a great video for you.
Robin is the former communications and marketing manager for SF Pride. Oh, love you, Robin.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this?
So we'll kick off with Robin, and then after the video, for any of you who want to join in after that, we got a mic right back there that is, or we're going to move it forward. But Mark, do your thing.
Oh, my nose is running.
Hi, everybody. This is Robin Adams. You know, until recently, I was the social media director and communications manager for San Francisco Pride. But after 18 months of loyal service and fabulous work, I was laid off. And I have a few things to say about that. Specifically, I have a few things to say about the outgoing president, I believe that is, of San Francisco Pride, Wen Pham. Yeah, I was there. I saw how it went down, okay? And I think people need to know. So Wen, I love you. You know that's true. Shows up on TV all the time. All the time. And it's always in the shoes. And it's always in the shoes. We have to see the shoes. This guy shows up to all of our events, right, in fabulous high heel shoes. Admittedly, he's got good taste. You know, he's such a look at me queen. You know, everywhere he goes, right? He's the center of attention. He commands your attention with his fabulous high-heeled shoes and his witty personality and charming demeanor. Ugh, and everybody just like loves this guy. And he shows up on TV. He's like always on TV, getting all this attention. And he's always got like, you know, I don't know, a whole bunch of followers on social media singing his praises every day about what a glamorous genius he is. I mean, and don't even get me started on Suzanne Ford, but God, those two, I swear to God, you can't go to like a Pride-related event or a party without them getting up and talking about how, oh, it's the most iconic queer organization in the world. Well, I'll tell you the truth. I don't think we could have done it without him. And oh my gosh, Wen brings so many wonderful skills and talents and charms to everything that he does. And as a representative of San Francisco Pride, I just think he was the best. And I wish him all the luck in the future. I know it's going to be rich and amazing, and I hope that I get to continue to watch you become the famous and fabulous leader that you are.
She's very editorial. Look at that.
We're tossing it back to y'all. All right, who's next?
Beautiful. Thank you, Robin. Wherever
Yay. You got 13 minutes, and the mic is there. And it can be a question. It doesn't have to be a roast. It doesn't have to be a roast. I get it. You know, it's intimidating. It can be a question.
If I were to compare you with the Imelda Marcos, so
Imelda Marcos.
yes,
Biggest
do
compliment.
you know?
I've ever received.
Yes, so do you know how much? You know how many shoes? You know, pair of shoes is she has, right? So
No, can you tell us? I don't.
do you?
It's like hundreds, probably.
Well, now I'm asking you, how many do you have?
Okay. Again, I don't want to deflate anyone's tires. So I work in LGBTQ philanthropy, nonprofit worlds, and I live in the Castro neighborhood here in San Francisco. We do not exactly live large in the neighborhood of San Francisco on a nonprofit salary, so I actually don't have that many. But I would say of these very special elevated shoes, I would say like 15 pairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you recycle them? Something? Yes.
Recycle? No,
Yeah.
I never.
You
did
kept
them.
you kept them.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So this question, that's all.
Yeah. Why are you looking to borrow some? We'll talk later.
Oh, darling, probably won't fit because this feet.
Oh, you're so petite. I'll just drown
Well, thank you. Thank you. You look gorgeous.
You're gorgeous. That's my friend Lawrence Wu, everybody. Lawrence, thank you.
David. David. David, thank you so much
guys.
for all you do for us.
Well, thank you both for your long service. I think 8 years is probably the longest presidency that there's ever been in San Francisco Pride. So that takes some real endurance. Thanks for that. And Michelle, also, you were board
You were there
president
too.
for 6 years? How long?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's crazy. I lasted for 4 years as treasurer, and I wasn't even on the front line. So I think that's amazing. It takes a special personality to do that. And I think you're both kind of birds of a feather that way. And it's nice to see you together chatting. It's really wonderful. I do have kind of an idea / question, and kind of what do you think about this concept? Most of the other events in the city that want to maintain access to their events, they offer a time-tiered structure, with the first tier being free. Of course, volunteers can attend for free, but there's always a set of tickets that's available for free. And then they just keep upping the price because they know the people with the money are always the last ones to plan things, you know. So I always pay at the highest tier, unfortunately. So, you know, there are tons of people in the community that don't have a lot of money, but there are also tons of people in the community that have a lot of money and can afford to pay for a ticket. What about that time-tiered structure?
Yeah, thanks, David, for that question. It's a very operations question, and yeah. Again, pointing back to what I said earlier, more broadly, when we are trying to accommodate an economically disadvantaged group of people, it's still going to be my first instinct to make it as easy and accessible for them to enter our space. I get what you're saying about this tiered, phased model, where you might have like an early bird pricing, and then for those who don't plan quite as intently, but who have access and means, access to capital and resources, sure. Even then, I don't know. I would have to think more about that, but still, I will always default to free and always will be. That's just kind of what I was born into. Pointing back to the question about would I ever change the footprint or the parade route? No, because I want to honor my ancestors and my transcestors and uplift what they built and provide some continuity there. Thanks, David.
Hi there, I'm Jonas, Wynn's college friend.
College?
Grad school. We went to the
grad school,
same
sorry.
business school.
Yeah.
We went to
Oh.
SF State.
Always when we used to go out with Wynn, he's always like, oh, I want to go home. I want to go home. Well, now what? SF Pride wants you to go home.
Okay.
Are you warm right now?
I'm warm.
Yeah.
Are you warm?
I'll do kung fu in a minute. I'm fine. Next question. Yes.
Oh,
Hi.
hey.
I have a question. We have a history in our communities of being a lot tougher on each other sometimes than the external world is on us in some ways. How do we balance people's need for accountability without giving everybody an unlimited license to project or inflict whatever they're feeling or whatever they've gone through or whatever they've experienced onto others of us in the community in harmful ways? And I mean, the thing is, again, we don't want to try to manage or manipulate what people are feeling and what they've experienced. But is there a way to have accountability without always going to a level of 10, 11, or 12 in terms of assuming the worst possible intentions?
Thank you for that question. Danny, by the way. Hi, Danny. Thanks for coming. These are really actually beautiful questions. The first thing you pointed to, I think, was this idea of infighting. How do we further our movement while taking care of ourselves and not causing pain or strife or trauma to each other? I think it comes from a place of making sure that you're unified in your goal and your mission. Ultimately, we are all in this Pride movement to advance the acceptance and the uplifting and affirmation of marginalized people. That is essentially at the crux of Pride. And so I think one thing that we have to remember is while our pain and trauma are real, so are the pains and the traumas of others in our space with us. And the deeper truth is, hurt people hurt people. I'll say that again. Hurt people hurt people. And it's easy to misinterpret some static or heat that someone's lodging against you. It's easy to misinterpret that as something that's personal because oftentimes they're really just projecting, and I think all they really want is to be heard and to be seen. So we have to give that to each other. We do have to also hold our own space and hold our own ground and affirm ourselves, but not at the expense of affirming others. So I think there is that potential for harmony in acknowledging each other's pain and trauma and knowing that we are in this together. The enemy is not each other. There's no enemy within. The enemy is vanquishable, and we will vanquish that enemy if we just stick together.
Hi, Wynn.
Hi, Suzanne.
I can't believe I got the microphone at your event. You know, you don't share the microphone very well.
No, I'm very selfish with you, Suzanne.
Here comes a roast. Here comes a roast.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out something. I don't think ever in the history of San Francisco Pride has one individual gone to another country, to another city's Pride. I think it was Manchester. You are looking at the SF Pride contingent at the Manchester Pride. He actually came down the route as one person and they said, here is San Francisco Pride's contingent.
Yes.
Never in the history. I thought the definition of contingent would require more than one person, but you've defied that.
Hey, you know, power, it starts with one person. And what Suzanne is pointing to is 2 months ago, Manchester in the UK held their annual Pride celebration. It's a beautiful Pride. I would go back. And I was the only person who was able to represent SF Pride at the time. So I just made some agreements with the planning committee. I want to represent, you know, our far-flung, iconic Pride celebration. I want to let the Manchester community know that San Francisco Pride sees them and that we're here for them. And so they just gave me my own spot in the parade. I had a sash on that said SF Pride. It was just me.
Yeah.
And then the announcer was like, and here from San Francisco Pride is San Francisco Pride. Yay. One person.
Yes, you personified San Francisco Pride as an individual. I don't think done before.
Never been done before.
I would like to point out that my relationship with Wynn started, I think, Cafe Fleur. Yes, it was a warm day, and I was a candidate for the board. Okay, and Michelle had recruited me, and I had seen Wynn at some Pride events, and he was at a table with some cheerleading friends, and they were discussing cheerleading. And I leaned over and said, you know, I'm from Kentucky, and we have, you know, this world-famous cheerleading team at University of Kentucky.
Right.
And he said, oh, nice. That's how it started, and this is how it's going to end. And I would like to point out that Wynn Pham is maybe the only person in the world that has been in Golf Digest, and he doesn't know how to swing a golf club.
No.
Wynn is a co-founder of the world's only PGA-endorsed Pride Pro-Am in the whole world.
Yes. And the other co-founder is one Suzanne Ford, by the way. So thank you.
Not
Suzanne.
about me today, it's about you.
Don't cry.
I know. I'm trying. Mascara will run.
I mean, cry. Cry.
No, I don't want to
Cry.
cry. I don't
Yeah.
want to cry. I don't
It's
want to
fine.
cry. I don't
Cry.
want to cry. I
Yeah.
just want to say that they have been difficult years. I was really interested to see what his answer would be about what was the most difficult period. I thought he would say the day I got the job, but he didn't.
The day that I hired you, yes, that was the best decision I ever made, actually.
No, I just have to say that it's been wonderful. He has been very, we've shared great. It's been so easy to be at a TV station and know that we were going to talk when it was right for each one of us. We loved each other enough to share. And then his leadership, the meeting is kind of after the meeting with your president. After the board meeting, you know that your phone's going to ring immediately after. Oh, okay. How was that for you? And those meetings for me with Win were the most precious moments through the 3 years that we were together. I started on the board. I was on the board for 4.5 years before I became executive director. And when the first years, Win taught me what it was like to be a board member, because I really hadn't done that much in the community when I wound up on that board, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And Win coached me through that, and then allowed me to grow in different ways. So I'm so sad. The world's going to get back some of your time, but we're going to miss you, and I love you dearly.
Yeah.
I love you too, Suzanne. Thank you.
Okay, we got time for one more, and then we gotta do other
How about
things.
just two more?
Two?
Just only two. Only
Okay.
two. Yeah, we're gonna.
I see Joshua, current board
Yeah.
president. So sorry to say it, I'm gonna be boss here, but
Yeah.
we gotta make it quick.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to make it quick. I was crawling under a stage on Noe Street, not doing something else, but thinking, okay, I'm pulling a power cable under a stage. Great, I know how to do that. But up above on the stage is a whole other thing. So, in all your wisdom, from you being president to now my being president, what is a nugget of wisdom you'd like to share with me, saying, okay, Josh, you got it down below, but now let me teach you a little bit about up above here. How about that?
Thank you, Joshua. Not to get too sentimental, but rely on your team. Just know that you're not ever alone when you do something, especially in the Pride movement. We have a gorgeous abundance of beauty and intelligence and passion in our community, and we need to rely on each other. That's how we build our coalition, and that's how we enrich this thing called the Pride movement. So whatever questions you have, lean on each other. Don't ever think that you are by yourself. And by the way, that's Joshua Smith, our new incoming board president of SF Pride.
Thank you so much for saying yes when I said, will you join the San Francisco Pride Board back in 2016. Thank you for continuing the magic and staying loyal. And we know that obviously this is just, another chapter, and you're going to continue to support our community and do great things. We're so lucky to be in community with each other, right?
I agree. We all are. So
Yeah.
thank you all. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Hold on.
Yeah, okay. Oh, thank you.
I want to invite Suzanne Ford up here. I see Joshua, who's from the board, and then I also see anyone who's here from the board. Not Dr. Nas.
Dr.
Yes,
Nas. Adele,
yes,
if you-
Adele
if
is
you would
here.
like to.
Or yes, if you can all come up here, we do have a special moment
you.
here for Hwin.
Love you.
Yeah.
Love you.
So, Hwin, we have a special award for you in recognition of all your service and contributions. San Francisco Pride is bestowing you this beautiful triangular rainbow prism. This is what it's all about, is that we forgive one another, we love one another, we contribute when we can, but in the end, we know all of this is all we have, and we continue to make change. So, Suzanne, will you do the honors and bestow Hwin this beautiful award?
I love you too. Wait, Michelle, get it. Let's do a photo. Let's do it. Yeah.
How are you gonna be in the picture?
Everybody, come on.
like-
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw my Ghost from Pride Pass from Chinatown and my peace sign. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks online for those who are joining us. I'm Michelle Miao, a member of the Board of Governors for the Commonwealth Club World Affairs. We would like to thank Wise Assistance for everything and for always continuing to service us. David Curry, who's our former board treasurer, who continues to service and contribute to the organization. When you have the last words, make it quick. Love you.
I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for just being a part of this movement. Stay happy, stay safe, stay tuned, because I'm not done yet. I'm just barely getting started. I'm honored by you all. I love you all. Happy Halloween, happy LGBTQ History Month, and you'll be seeing from me soon. Bye.